Evening all, Kieran here, back with another podcast. Firstly, I hope those that have watched the podcast I did yesterday on tomorrow's racing, including the Oaks, all enjoyed it. Now we are going to talk about the main event on Saturday, which is the BETFRED Derby, and then also the other races that ITV are covering. Starting firstly with the 1 o'clock, which is the Princess Elizabeth Stakes, which currently Skellet is favourite at 5-1, although not my fancy for the race. I currently fancy Royal Dress at 6-1 for James Tate and William Buick, third in the race last year, which is no disgrace at all. Chick Colony actually reopposes, and there's a big weight difference in that. Chick Colony was second in the race last year. He then went over to the Curragh later on in the season. This is Royal Dress, and won over in the Curragh over in a Group 3, and then on the reappearance ran again, this time in a Group 2 at York, where finishing third behind Sea the Fire. Obviously drops back down now into listed company. I believe this is listed company. So dropping class, and I think back to Epsom, obviously third in the race last year, only beaten less than a length. Should go very close in this race, and will definitely be potentially a play for me in the race. It'll be my selection currently in the race, but I will let you know for sure what my selections are tomorrow evening. And we move on to the 135, the Diamond Stakes, where Docklands is 7-4 favourite. I quite fancy the second from the race last year, which is Royal Dubai, who is 10-1 for Marco Botti and Ross Orion. So like I said, second in the race last year. Has been over to Meydan in the winter, not run too badly, not won over there, but not run too badly, a few decent efforts over there. And then came back and reappeared behind Docklands when finishing fourth at Ascot. Docklands finished second that day behind Siberia Warrior, who's obviously not gone on to frank the form too well and getting beat next time. So he's got a bit to find with Docklands. He's got 4 lengths to find or so, 4 or 5 lengths or so. But with Docklands being 7-4 and this lad being at 10-1, and he's only got 5 lengths to find at a track where he's ran decently before, finishing second in the race last year. I think he's got a decent each way play, and at 10-1, if you're going to get those prices, potentially I might get involved each way. So that's Royal Dubai for the Diamond Day Stakes. So that's 2 Royals thrown up in the first 2 races. Next we move on is the 210, the 3-year-old Dash. Obviously they brought this race in because there was so many entries for the Dash itself, which obviously the race following this. So the 3-year-old Dash, where Ruby Prophet, after his win at Goodwood last time out, is favourite at 3-1. But I quite like Mademoiselle of George Scott's and the Ammo Racing team. David Egan will take the ride. Winner of a maiden and novice at the back end of last season, and then was second on reappearance to Ruby Prophet in that race at Goodwood, where he was giving Ruby Prophet £4. Was getting £4 that day, but couldn't quite get to the winner, going down by half a length. But now gets £7 for this next assignment. I just think, in a race like this, weight could be anything. We know Ruby Prophet's going to go out and go from the front, but potentially David Egan, if he can track and potentially have a decent sit, get no unlucky running, and potentially he could be a decent each way play at 13-2. The other one, there is another one I actually like in the race as well. It's Storm Impact for Warren Fentman, and claims 5 off his back, and Richard Fahey. His actually only win came over 5 furlongs at the back end of last season at Musselburgh. Was tried at 6 furlongs at the start of this season, but just didn't get home. Chased the leaders, but soon failed to stay the full 6 furlongs. Now dropped back to 5 furlongs. Will need to be up with the pace, start early. Obviously, if Ruby Prophet goes off in front, you'd like to think that Storm Impact will need to be close by to keep up with the pace. But if he is, I think he could outrun his odds. Currently best price 20 to 1. And then we move on to the dash itself. Like I said, they've split it up now. So this is for 4-year-olds and older, where JM Jungle and Jurabat are currently joint favourites at 13 to 2. I like 2 again in here, and it's actually the first 2 home in the race last year. First, you got Dream Composer for Harry Evans and Joe Levy. Won the race last year by half a length. Hasn't done much since, to be honest, but then again, it's sprinters. They normally win, and then they're out the back of the TV for a few starts, and they come back again and win the next race. And the fact that he's coming back to a track that he's won at before, obviously the Epsom 5 furlong dash is quite literally a dash. It's straight downhill all the way. It's one of the fastest 5 furlongs in the country. So back to a course which he's obviously won at before is obviously going to be an advantage to him as well. So I give him a bit of a squeak. Currently best price 14 to 1. But the one I really do like in the race and will potentially, he's going to be one of my best bets, is Democracy Dilemma of Robert Cowles. Ross Orion will ride. Currently best price 9 to 1. Like I said, second in the race last year, only beaten half a length. Robert Cowles is an expert with sprinters. Ross Orion seems to be riding a lot of decent sprinters now. He rides a lot for Cowell. He rides a lot for Clive Cox, who are very much sprinter orientated trainers. And this was obviously, like I said, second in the race last year, and actually didn't run too badly last time out when seen a listed event this last weekend when finishing 5th. So now dropping back into handicap company, obviously he's number 2 on the card. He's second. He's right at the top of the weights. But I can't see why he wouldn't hit the frame. You're going to get decent place terms in this race, potentially 4, potentially 5 places. So at 9 to 1, I think he's a shoe-in for a place, and I think he's got a great chance. That's Democracy Dilemma. And then we move on to the Derby itself, where certainly we have Delacroix, I get that right, and Ruling Court at the top of the betting for Aidan O'Brien and Godolphin respectively, both 4 to 1. Delacroix first off for Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien. I won't speak too much of this. Obviously, I am on anti-post at 10 to 1. Ballysack's winner, tried and trusted route for Aidan O'Brien and his Derby hopefuls, most notably. Not a lot of them. He sends a few to the Guineas now and again, but normally they run in that race and then go on to the Derby. Currently 4 to 1. I'm not going to play any more at 4. Like I said, I'm on at 10 to 1. I won't be playing any more at 4 to 1, but I think he's got a hell of a chance. Ryan Moore's picked them over Lion of Winter. So you'd like to think that he thinks he's got a chance. He's got a decent draw. I think he's in 14, which isn't too bad. It could have been worse, like Lion of Winter's out in 90, he's out in the car park. So I think he's got a decent chance from there, but he won't be a selection. I've got 2 others that I'm going to mention that will be selections, and they will come obviously in the best bets at the end after I've discussed this race. The first one is Night Walker of John Gosden's. Tom Marquand booked for the ride. 25 to 1 currently best price. Third at Newmarket over 1 mile 2 staying on. Then he was 5th in the Dante, seen no closer than at the finish. Step up in trip is certainly going to suit. He's out of Francorchamps. He's bred to stay the distance. He's on the dam side. He's got some relation to Logician, who obviously won the St. Leger for the Gosdens and for Jugmont. I've said after he ran in the race at Newmarket, I tweeted out saying this has got Leger written all over it, this horse. He's bred for the Leger. It's just the way he finished out his race. I think the further he goes, the better he's going to be. I think if he gets a decent run in here, he's a definite chance of outrunning his odds at 25 to 1. And that's Night Walker for John Gosden. And the other one is an even bigger price. Now, people are going to think I'm loony. People are thinking they're going to laugh me off the screen when I come up with this. But Sea Scout for Simon Crisford, Harry Davis will ride. Currently best price 100 to 1. And hear me out. Course winner won the Blue Ribbon event at the back end, at the start of the season, well, April time, and obviously that's over the course for a start, which is always a plus point. Secondly, in that race, he beat Trinity College, who was second in that race, who's then gone to finish fourth in the French Derby last weekend. Well, obviously, Wayne Lorden nicely opened the door for Ryan Moore to go and win the race down the inside. But yeah, stayed on to finish fourth that day. Decent run. We finished half a length behind Sea Scout that day. Sea Scout's then gone to the Dante, where he's finished 8th in the Dante, not beating a million miles, not disgraced, but comes back to a course which he's won at. The trainer said after the race at Epsom that they potentially would go for another run for the Dante, but it wasn't needed. All eyes will be on going for the Derby. It's the only entry that they had for the Derby, and that was going to be the be-all and end-all. And I just think 100 to 1, you're going to get 4 place on the day because there's 19 runners. I think 100 to 1, you can be these worst 100 to 1 shots out there. I think he'll run a decent race on a course which he's run it before and outrun his odds at 100 to 1. So, that being said, the 3 best bets for Saturday currently is Democracy Dilemma in the dash, the 4-year-old plus dash at 9 to 1, and then the 2 in the Derby, both each way. Obviously, Democracy Dilemma will be each way as well. The 2 in the Derby, both each way. Night Walker Derby at 25 to 1, and Sea Scout 100 to 1. Now, those are those prices. I won't be taking them prices now. I will post my bets on Saturday morning as per usual, along with the podcast tips attached to the video. And that's it, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It's helping me a lot, pushing it across. If you haven't yet and you'd like to, I've got my Telegram page. You come and join me. Just message me on here, either that or click the link that I will try and get attached to the video. And then last but not least, if you could drop your nap selections for the weekend, and then potentially whoever has winning naps, I may have something such of a giveaway if you can potentially find the winning nap this weekend. But thanks again for listening, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and happy punting.